Hi, I'm Paul from the Studio Rats. Today we are looking at this, which is Boss's new noise suppressor, the NS1X. Now don't move on to the next video. I know noise suppressors aren't the most interesting of pedals, but this thing is absolutely amazing. So what I've decided to do today is to use my noisiest guitar, which is this Strat with P90s. Now P90s are notoriously noisy pickups, and I'm using one of my favourite overdrive pedals that's not exactly the quietest of overdrive pedals. It's definitely got some noise to it, but I love this pedal. So what I thought I'd do is to show off all the features of the NS1X with this guitar, noisiest guitar, and one of my noisiest pedals. Now, I'm a guitar player that loves single coils, and the majority of my videos actually use single coils. I think I've only got one guitar at the moment with humbuckers, actually two with humbuckers, but the majority of my guitars are single coils. So I'm quite used to dealing with noise, and noise from single coils, and especially P90s, can be a bit of a problem. Now, if you look at a lot of pros pedal boards, and especially the more sort of higher gain type of guitar player, they use a Boss noise suppressor, normally something like the NS2. The NS1X is part of Boss's new range, and it's a digital pedal. Now, I know I'm going to get comments where people saying, well, I don't want any digital processing in my signal chain. Well, at some point, you are going to have some digital processing going on. It doesn't matter if it's inside your signal chain or afterwards, or even the recording process, and even after the recording process, things like mastering, and even then the format that we listen on, whether it be MP3 or high quality audio. The chances of you recording your guitar and there's no digital in the signal chain anywhere is actually quite unusual now. And to be honest, we've got to the stage now where you don't even need to worry about digital. Digital sounds great, and especially something like this, which uses Boss's new technology, there's actually no difference, and I cannot tell that I'm using a digital pedal. I've got the pedal engaged at the moment. I'm going to take it out and now put it in. So you can tell there is no signal degradation at all. This thing works exactly as it should. Let's turn it off again, and let's bring in my overdrive pedal at full gain. So that is the noise that I would typically get from a P90 and an overdrive pedal. Now if I bring in the NS1X, absolutely silent. And still absolutely no degradation to the guitar signal. Now, I've never heard a noise suppressor that works that well. Now, on this pedal, we've got three different modes. We've got gate, we've got reduction mode. Now you'll see the difference between the gate and the reduction. If I bring it back to gate, you'll see how quickly the noise suppressor kicks in. And then in reduction mode and adjusting the decay, And this is where things get really clever, because if you really want to keep the subtle nuances of your playing, you can use the decay to really cater for your guitar style. And then lastly, we've got this mute mode. Now, mute mode is probably where I would use this pedal, because you can either use the gate or the reduction mode. Now, when the pedal's engaged, it actually mutes the guitar. But if I now disengage the pedal, so there I'm in reduction mode. Now, if I hold down the pedal, I can switch over to gate mode. I'm not a massive sort of real high gain player, so I would leave it in the reduction mode, which is there. Now, the way that I've got it rigged up at the moment is exactly how I would use this, which is using the effects loop inside the NS1X. So not only is the NS1X reducing all the noise from my P90s, it's also reducing the noise from my overdrive pedal. So I'm going to leave it in the mute mode, which is when I push the pedal, it mutes the guitar totally, and when I take it out, it goes back into the reduction mode. And out of habit, I've got this sort of thing where I always sort of roll down my volume knob on my guitar, and I don't need to do that with this pedal. Let's switch over to reduction mode, and I go through the controls on the top. First of all, we've got a damp amount. If you look at the LEDs, this is the amount of reduction that we're engaging. If I bring back the damp control, you'll see the amount of noise reduction that I'm bringing in. So I've given it quite a lot of reduction because if I bring it back, you can hear the amount of noise that it's reducing. Next, we've got our threshold. Now, if I bring it all the way off, you can see it's just about reducing. And I want it about there, just where it's cutting off all that unwanted noise. And the next control over is the decay. This is the amount of speed that it brings in the noise reduction. So if I bring it all the way to the left, you see it brings in the decay instantly. Now, this is great for sort of real high gain playing where you really need that instant noise suppression. And if I bring it the other way, it brings in the noise suppressor gradually. For more sort of natural results, you're going to want that decay on the slower sort of settings. As I said earlier, I've got it rigged up like this where we're using the actual loop. That is exactly how I would run this, and this will be exactly how I'm running this on my pedal board, because without doubt this is definitely going on my board. But there are other ways that we can do this. Now, we can either run the guitar straight into the noise suppressor, then out into my overdrive pedals. Now, what that's going to do is to reduce any unwanted noise from a guitar, but it's not going to be reducing any noise from the pedals. The best way is where we're using the loop, where we're doing both. All we could do, which is probably how a lot of people are going to run this, is to run an overdrive pedal into the input of the NS1X. So let's do that. Now, you'll see from me doing this that I'm not actually getting the same amount of noise reduction that I would have done running this pedal inside the loop. And that's because this isn't the most efficient way of doing it. But we can do it this way by turning up the threshold. And it works great. So there you go. Now you see Boss noise suppressors on tons of pro players boards, and I honestly believe that they're going to get replaced for this, because this thing is absolutely amazing. It's definitely going on my board. Anyway, I really hope you guys got something out of this. If you did get something out of it, don't forget to like and subscribe, click on the bell button, and you'll be notified of any future video that comes out from the studio rats. I'm Paul, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.